A cloudy and wet afternoon turning into a dark and rainy night in Miami. But Marlins Park is open for business. Roof is closed, ready to go. The Mets are here. Final 3 games of the season. It's good work if you can find it. Everyone trying to chip in for these final 3 nights. Donovan Solano riding a 10-game hit streak. Jose Reyes is 3 bases shy of the National League lead. And Wade LeBlanc gets the ball, a surprise starter. Josh Johnson scratched from tonight's ballgame. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. 3 games left. I guess the questions would be, can Jose Reyes get those stolen bases? Can Donovan Solano hit 300? Does Giancarlo have another tape measure shot left in him?
You know, you're right, Rich. It is good work if you can find it. And we're happy to be here. We're here for 3 more. And it's a weird time of the year when you're out of things. You have some individual statistics to look forward to. Can Solano get to 300 and stay there? You mentioned Stanton and Reyes. So it's that time of year for some of the guys individually. You just want to go out respectfully.
Collectively, as a team, the Marlins have not played well against many teams in the East, especially the Mets. The Mets have dominated the Marlins this year.
You know, this has been very disappointing to have a record of 4-11 against the ball club that I think when the season started, certainly the Marlins didn't think that. But when you see the numbers, you see why. The Mets have had a better club and played better baseball in those games. That's why they have higher numbers. You can throw in one guy if you want to individualize that statistic sheet. You could say R.A. Dickey's 5-0 against the Marlins this year. And by the way, he pitches tomorrow night.
Well, that's tomorrow night. Tonight, it's not Josh Johnson. A little bit of a tight hamstring. The Marlins chose not to risk it. They just shut him down for the rest of the year. And so Wade LeBlanc, who was going to start on Wednesday, gets the start tonight. And part of our pitching matchup tonight, LeBlanc getting the ball. It's been a while since the lefty has started.
Yeah, it has. He's done a good job working out of the bullpen and as a starter. And he got the call at the last minute. But you know what? Every time he's had that opportunity, he seems to do a pretty good job. No record in his career against the Mets.
Now, if you're not real familiar with Jerry Lee's Familia, he gets the start. Jerry Reese, the right-hander out of the Dominican Republic. It is his first big league start. So there you go. Familia going for the Mets. LeBlanc going for the Marlins. It's the first of 3 from Marlins Park. Come on inside. Come on in out of the rain. Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine.
Well, Rich, thank you very much. Wild 3 final days here in the Major League season. The first time ever 2 wild card teams from each league, and it has a lot of implications in both the National League and the American League. Maybe more wild in the American League than the NL, but still some things undecided in the NL. Let's look at the NL East first. It's not over yet, believe it or not. The Braves still have a very outside shot. They're 3 games back with 3 to go.
The Braves have been playing amazing baseball. Washington Nationals won't go away. 96 wins. Who knows? I mean, the Washington Nationals get swept. Braves sweep. Could be a playoff for the National League East title. Who would have thought that just a week ago? Atlanta
in Pittsburgh, Washington hosting Philadelphia. As for the wild card story, Atlanta is already in, so if they don't get the first place spot from Washington, they are the host of the wild card game, which is coming up on Friday, October 5th. St. Louis looks to be in, but not yet, because their lead is only 2. San Francisco's at L.A. tonight. Cincinnati at St. Louis, and Cincinnati has something to play for too, Jeff.
Yeah, they're looking for home field advantage for the entire playoffs, so they're going to be playing and trying to sweep that series as well.
All right, now AL East, this is amazing. They are tied, Baltimore and the Yankees. One team's going to win the East of those 2. Now, on the other side, look at Boston is playing New York. It means nothing to the Red Sox, except, of course, they could knock the Yanks out of winning the division. And Baltimore plays against Tampa Bay. The Rays are out, though, with 4 out. So, Yanks and Orioles are top the wild card. Remember, it's only one of those 2 teams. So it's either going to be Oakland or L.A. has got a long shot now, Jeff, because they're 3 games out. They'd have to win all their 3 games and hope Oakland loses their 3 just to get into a tiebreak situation. And the same story there for the Rays there, as they are 3 out as well from the wild card.
Crazy situation, and you're looking at a possible on Thursday, a possible playoff between Baltimore and New York just for the division title, and then the wild card game the next day. You could go from the division leader to the wild card loser to going home. I mean, this is crazy stuff. It's why they instituted this second wild card team. It's created a tremendous amount of buzz this last day of the season, last homestand of the season. So who knows? We've seen crazy stuff the last couple of years.
Tonight might clear up a few things, but you're right. It was crazy last year. There could be some clinchers tonight and a little more clarity on what's going to happen. 6 of these 7 American League games have playoff implications tonight. It's amazing. 3 games to go. Back with Mets Marlins coming up.
Pitch a Penny brings you the first pitch. Wade LeBlanc delivers outside to Ruben Tejada. Marlins and Mets are underway. LeBlanc getting the start in place of Josh Johnson. A slight twinge in the hamstring. Johnson scratched from the start, and he will not make another start this year. Tejada goes after an inside fastball, sends it out Giancarlo Stanton's way, and he's there to make the catch. Here come the Mets. Let's meet him. Ruben Tejada. Daniel Murphy's had a solid year. Justin Turner is at third base. Actually, David Wright is at third base. Justin Turner is not playing in the game. Our apologies. Scott Hairston's in right. Ike Davis in first. Kelly Shopik will do the catching. Jason Bay is in left. Andres Torres in center. And Jerry's Familia will hit ninth. And here's LeBlanc facing Daniel Murphy. First pitch fastball from Wade LeBlanc. Murphy and LeBlanc facing each other. LeBlanc, his ninth start for the Marlins. Murphy sends that one out towards short, and a one-hop throw and a pick by Lee. A terrific play by Reyes on an odd ground ball that had a weird spin on it.
That's an early spectacular play right there.
Watch how this ball comes off the bat.
It catches a piece, the back foot of LeBlanc, and then picked barehanded by Reyes. Watch that foot. There's the carom, there's the pick, and then another pick at the other end by Carlos Lee. That's tremendous.
And the most surprising thing about the whole play is that nobody has come out to check on Wade LeBlanc, which is as it should be. When a pitcher says, I'm fine, stay
when he
in the
waves
dugout.
everybody off, just stay there.
And here is Wright, who originally was not in the first lineup that the Mets put up, but that was quickly changed, and Wright is in there tonight. David Wright takes a changeup that misses outside.
Funny story, because I had written in that other lineup.
You had Justin Turner in there,
and
too?
I walked down. I was down around the batting cage, and I said to David Wright, I said, you know, you're getting the night off, you know, whatever. He turned around. He said, what? I said, no, I'm in there. So he just assumed he was in there, and he was.
Of course he is. He's been in there a lot this year.
153 times. This is 154.
2-1 pitch. Fastball is up and in. Terry Collins, the skipper of the Mets, who has done a nice job this year with a roster depleted, a rotation depleted by injury. From Mike Pelfrey to Dylan G to Johan Santana. That probably the biggest loss that the Mets have had to absorb this year.
You know, if you talk to Terry Collins, and he's told us that the one area the Mets certainly need to zero in on is a productive outfielder. They've had the least productive outfield of any team in the National League, possibly baseball.
They've got an outfield in this one of Scott Hairston in right, who's actually had a decent year. Jason Bay in left, who has struggled mightily, and Andres Torres in center field, who has just 2 home runs. Not a power hitter in center. 3-2. Fly ball right field. Stan coming as fast as he can, and it falls foul and out of play. Let's take a look at the Marlins defense while we can.
Gives us a chance to do that. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Peterson, Hernandez, and Stanton in the outfield. Velasquez, Reyes, Solano, and Lee around the infield, and Rob Brantley is behind the plate.
Right back to home plate. Right passing a milestone with an infield hit against the Pirates on Wednesday, becoming the all-time hit leader in Mets history, and he takes ball 4 down low. LeBlanc took a step towards the dugout, and Wright is on his way to first. You see pitch number 8. LeBlanc had it at the knees and got certainly enough of the plate. It's brought to you by Papa John's. 1,423 hits does Wright have right now. He passed Ed Kranepool. And here's Hairston. LeBlanc has that great move.
Harrison right now has been their most productive outfielder.
And he's only received 365 at-bats this year. 19 homers, 54 driven in, and 25 doubles. So a slugging percentage of right around 500 for Hairston this year.
Reading an article about Hairston today, and he was talking about his future next year, where it might be, if it's with the Mets or with some other team. Certainly he'd love to get an opportunity to have more at-bats, to be in there on an everyday basis.
He's 32. Wright is running. Pitches a strike. The throw from Brantley is on the bag, but Wright gets in there with a stolen base. It looked like he was going first motion. He got a terrific jump. Brantley's throw, quick release, and right on the bag.
Brantley made this a whole lot closer than I thought it was going to be when I saw the jump that Wright got. He did go on first movement by LeBlanc. The throw was quick, on the money, very close.
Changeup misses out, and it's 1-1. So Wright's in scoring position. That was his 15th stolen base. And Hairston rolls over on a changeup, backing up Velasquez across the diamond in time. Wade LeBlanc. A scoreless first. Marlins get their first look at Familia. In the bottom of the first inning, the Fish looking for win number 68. Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez, Jose Reyes, Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Lee, Rob Brantley, Donovan Solano with his 10-game hit streak, Gil Velasquez at third, Wade LeBlanc gets ninth. Jereris Familia.
There is a look at the 22-year-old Dominican. He's had a few relief outings. 7 times he's pitched out of the bullpen, but making his first major league start. He was the Mets minor league pitcher of the year back in 2009, and what we've been told, a pretty good sinker. We'll look at the rest of the Familia. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Jason Bay, Torres, and Hairston in that outfield. Wright and Tejada, Murphy and Ike Davis. Big Kelly Shopping, the veteran backstop, will be behind the plate.
Marlins go to work on Familia. Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez, and Jose Reyes. Peterson takes outside. Peterson had 3 hits in the series against the Phillies. One of those hits, a rather important one, that was in the Marlins win against the Phils. Peterson, a 9th inning double. The Marlins rallied to get a run and walk off with a 2-1 win. Familia spent the year in Buffalo, and he wasn't overpowering. He was 9-9 with a 4.73 ERA.
But he did spend his time there as a starter, and in talking with Terry Collins, he said, you know, he shouldn't have a problem going 90, 100 pitches. Depends on if that's the fourth or the fifth inning.
Fastball runs inside. Peterson jettisons the bat and is on his way down to first. That one ran to the point where I don't think Shopik got enough of it. It may have clipped Mike Malinsky, the home plate umpire. We've got two guys who are tough to pronounce and tough to spell. Jeurys Familia and Mike Malinsky.
But if you look at the spelling, it appears to be Malchinsky. But we got that squared away early in the year, didn't we?
That's right.
And now, just to confuse things a little bit more, we'll throw in a Gorky's.
Peterson diving back. Now Peterson has swiped 8 bags. Stolen bases for the next 3 nights are something to be aware of, especially with Jose Reyes, because Reyes is within shooting distance of the stolen base crown in the National League. It's a crowded field. And a guy that yesterday stole some bases and got himself in the lead is a San Diego Padre, Everett Cabrera, now with 41 stolen bases.
He was kind of laying in the weeds and all of a sudden jumped in there.
And so Reyes is 3 behind him. Michael Bourne still at 40. Familia trying to keep Peterson close. The rotation that the Mets penciled out at the start of the year, and Johan Santana in it, Mike Pelfrey, Dylan G. And that one zips in. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Tommy John surgery for Pelfrey. G out for the year. Santana, the injury was listed as back, but I think the Mets just wanted to shut him down as he came back from shoulder surgery and let him rest the rest of the year. And he had felt he'd lost some velocity and some effectiveness because of fatigue. 1-2.
Good live fastball there. I think in the case of a young pitcher that you've never seen, you try to wait him out. You try to see what kind of command he has. And the same with runners at first. Brian Peterson trying to take a look at the possible move. Does he have a quick move? Is he slow to the plate?
Peterson is running. The pitch is up. Shopik's throw, and he is out. Peterson out on the tag by Murphy. Well, it looked like he beat the tag.
Sure did. It sure did. We'll have to get another look. It's a great pick by Murphy. The foot appears on the bag by the time he gets the tag a little higher on the leg.
Anytime you have a tag that high, your first reaction is that he got under it. Let's watch it in Foxmo. Maybe Murphy got the tag on before the foot gets there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. That's a very good call by Andy Fletcher, the second base umpire.
Andy, we're sorry for questioning you.
Murphy's not going to get this one. It's off his glove, and Gorkys Hernandez is aboard with a base hit. Tommy, what do we know about Familia?
Well, it's interesting because we learned a couple of things. We learned the correct pronunciation of his first name, and we've got 2 or 3 different opinions, but we got the correct opinion from the Mets broadcasters. Originally in their media guide, Jeurys, but it's Jeurys Familia. Got a live arm, and we haven't seen the nasty slider yet. And all of those things brought to you by Coventry Healthcare.
Here's Reyes. Runner goes. Hernandez, big jump, another throw, another out.
Wow.
Kelly Shopik has thrown out 2 Marlins, trying to steal second. Hernandez thought he was in. We've learned not to question Andy Fletcher, though. We'll see how he did on this one.
And pretty much we've learned not to run on Kelly Shopik. He's made a couple of strong throws, not usually known for his prowess as a defensive catcher, but a couple of strong throws by Shopik.
Foxmo gives you the definitive look. Boy, that's bang bang. Even watching it in super slow motion, it appeared the hand got there just as the tag got there. There is no language in the rule book that says tie goes to the runner. So Andy Fletcher called him out.
Andy Fletcher's out there saying, hey, wait a minute, guys, I'm at second. I've already had a couple of bang bang plays.
And Familia hasn't retired a hitter yet, and he's 3-0 on Reyes. And so now here's the question, Tommy. You've got Reyes, who is 3 away from the top spot in stolen bases. And so he would love to lead the league in stolen bases. But the Marlins have just had Peterson and Hernandez thrown out trying to steal.
I say you see Reyes going, though. I think Jose is going to try to steal. He's going to try to get into scoring position.
And Familia hasn't retired a hitter yet.
But I think you do it a little later in the count. Give Giancarlo an opportunity. Hit an extra base hit or hit one out. There's that slider.
0-1 to Stanton. Reyes, not a big lead.
Another slider.
Another strike.
So here's a situation. You're Giancarlo. You've been watching the previous hitters. You haven't seen that pitch. And all of a sudden he breaks it out and throws 2 good ones.
Familia ready. Reyes from first was leaning, and he just got back in. I think he was following your instructions, waiting until there were 2 strikes. I think he was running.
Yeah, I think now is certainly an opportunity.
And Stanton swings and misses, and he strikes out. What an odd inning. 2 walks, a single, and a strikeout, and the Marlins don't get a runner past first. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. For $10, get Papa John's Buffalo Chicken Pizza. Or for $2 more, get any large pizza. In Miami, where Ike Davis takes a breaking ball for a strike from Wade LeBlanc. Coventry Healthcare second. Marlins have the only hit in the ball game. And thanks to Kelly Shopik and his 2 strong throws to second, Marlins did not get a runner in scoring position despite 2 walks and a single from their first 3 hitters in the lineup. Davis has had a nice year power-wise, and he swings and misses. He's tied for 7th in the National League with 31 home runs, and his home run ratio is 3rd in the league, a homer every 16.4 at bats.
Yeah, the only National League hitter with more home runs since the All-Star break than Ike Davis. Davis has 19. Is Chase Headley, the Padres, with 22.
Davis drops the head of the bat and knocks one into right field for a base hit. So he's aboard. Kelly Shopik, Jason Bay also scheduled to appear here in the second. We'll keep an eye on all the games in the American League, the ones that, and just about everyone in the American League has some bearing on some race, be it a divisional race or a wild card race. Baltimore and the Rays are underway and scoreless in the second in Tampa Bay. Boston and New York are scoreless in the top of the second. Jacoby Ellsbury and Dustin Pedroia not in the lineup for Boston.
You would have to hope there were some significant injury there. The Orioles might not be too happy about that.
White Sox and Cleveland are scoreless in the second in Cleveland. The Tigers are in Kansas City to take on the Royals tonight. White Sox are 3 games back, so the Tigers have clinched at least a tie.
Yeah, either a win or a loss by the White Sox, and they're in.
And of course, Baltimore and New York are tied atop the East. The Rays holding on to hope for a wild card. They're going to have to sweep a red-hot Baltimore team. Baltimore 92-67. The Rays 88-71. As well, they're going to need Oakland to stub their toes, which could happen. They're playing Texas, though Texas has long since clinched. The only question for Texas is, can they maintain right now a 1-game lead for home field advantage in the American League? That one foul back from Shopik.
Long night for Texas, I'm sure. They had doubleheader last night. Now they open up that series in Oakland tonight.
I guess it's a question that you need to ask and then answer 10, 15 years down the line. But as we approach the first postseason with 2 wild cards, it certainly has made things very, very interesting in the American League. Here's the 2-2. Down the right field line, foul and out of play.
Made for a little controversy. Certainly opinions have been thrown out there.
Like I said, I think you got to wait 10 years or so, let it sink in. There was much belly aching and complaining, especially from the traditionalists, when baseball added a wild card in the what was it, 95 season.
I'll tell you where it's going to get a lot of controversy is if a team who has won their division by a pretty large sum, if they have to play a play-in game somehow and lose and then don't move on, and that'll create some controversy.
I think the traditionalists, though, look at this extra wild card and say the value of winning the division has risen.
Yes.
From last year and years past, since '94. 3-2 coming. And LeBlanc misses, and he walks Kelly Shopik. So the Mets have runners first and second. Here comes Jason Bay. The last Chevron ticket Wednesday is Wednesday. Fill up with 8 gallons or more of Chevron with Techron gasoline. Get a voucher for a 50% discount off tickets in select sections for Wednesday's home game. Stop in at a participating Chevron station today for full details. And here is Bay, and for Jason Bay, it really has been a tough season. Bay's numbers last year diminished: 12 homers, 57 RBIs, reduced even further this year. He's battled injuries. Had a grand slam against the Marlins earlier this year.
And hit the grand slam against Mark Burley. Might be the high point of his season for Jason Bay. Boy, just hitting 106 with runners in scoring position.
And it's 1-2, and talk of where the Mets will be next year in terms of personnel includes Jason Bay, because he's signed through next year. He's owed $16 million next year. First and second, nobody out, and Bay just gets a piece of it and fouls it back. Bay is 33, and you wonder if he's completely done or if he gets a change of scenery and a little bit of health, if it can spark new life in him.
You know, in talking, and to Bay's credit, in talking to Met people who watch him day in and day out, they say that the low batting average, the frustration that he's gone through this year has not affected his work ethic. It's not affected him running up the line hard every time.
Drills that one into left field. A base hit. Davis around third. They'll send him up with the ball. Peterson throw to the plate, and he is out. Brantley with a tag. Peterson throws him out. Boy, good stuff from a couple of young players. Brantley especially at the plate, getting to the corner to get Davis in time.
Well, you know you have a shot when Ike Davis is the runner. He does not run well at all. It still takes a perfect throw, and Brian Peterson on the money to Brantley. Machai shifts over and gets the tag on Davis. So we've seen 3 runners in this game put out at bases, 2 at second on attempted steals, and Davis trying to score there.
Andres Torres now. Importantly, Peterson's throw was cuttable, which kept Shopik at second base. So it's first and second for the Mets. Robinson Cano is homered, and the Yankees have the first run against the Red Sox in the second. Solano, Reyes' turn, lightning quick and in time to get a very speedy runner in Torres. And just like that, Wade LeBlanc gets out of the inning with a little help from his friends, Brian Peterson and Rob Brantley. Mission brought to you by H.H. Gregg. The Port of Miami. I was about to say, I'm wondering where in Marlins Park is that, where the flag is blowing in the wind. But a nice shot outside in Miami, kind of a windy, wet night tonight. Bottom of the second, scoreless, Mets and Marlins.
This was a night, Rich, that for sure batting practice would have been canceled because it rained a lot at that time. I'm not sure what it's doing outside right now, but would have been a night that we may have had to deal with a rain delay, but certainly not in this beautiful facility.
That noise in the background can only mean one thing, and that Carlos Lee is coming to the plate. El Caballo with Rob Brantley and Donovan Solano. Really a strange start to this ballgame. It's a scoreless game. The Marlins had 2 runners thrown out at second in the first. Jeurys Familia retired just 1 hitter. He struck out Giancarlo Stanton. He walked Peterson. He was caught stealing. That was a bang-bang play. Hernandez singled. He was caught stealing. That was a bang-bang play. Reyes walked and was thinking about stealing, but then Stanton struck out.
Well, the Marlins have had 3 base runners. Nothing to show for it. The Mets have had 4 base runners. Nobody scored.
Yeah. The Mets have had a runner thrown out the plate and then hit into a double play. Tommy talked about the sink that Familia has. That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball with sink, his last one. And Lee gets sawed off, hits a little roller out towards short. Tejada's throw in plenty of time to get Carlos Lee. And here comes Rob Brantley. Tomorrow night certainly will be a very interesting night at the ballpark. You've got R.A. Dickey, who is gunning for a Cy Young Award. And Dickey has just dominated the Marlins this year to a tune of 5-0 with a 1.38 ERA. Just 6 earned runs. 6 earned runs, he said, in 5 starts against the Marlins. And, of course, tomorrow night, Adam Greenberg will be active for the Marlins and get an at-bat. What, 8 seasons after he was hit?
7 seasons.
7 seasons. 2005.
2005. There's R.A. Dickey, he's just been, I mean, he's been spectacular against everybody with his 20 wins, but 5-0 against the Marlins. I hope that wasn't a Freudian slip.
Here's the 1-1. Now, the Marlins did not hit on the field, but Adam Greenberg was here and hitting in the cages. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's good to hear that the Marlins as a team have kind of accepted him. John Buck, I think, will have a little something special for him tomorrow because he is a rookie. High pop, right, and Tejada calls right off and then makes the call and the catch.
I think it was a good defensive push-off by Tejada to move right out of the way and make the catch.
So not Golden Tate-like, but
not quite, no.
Legal. There's Buck.
Well, Buck was very instrumental in the rookie hazing that took place in New York with the U.S. water polo team outfits.
Here's Solano now. And Donovan Solano takes down low. This is a guy that over the next 3 nights, if you're looking for a reason to come back and watch, you want to see if Donovan Solano can hit 300. Look what he's done against the Mets this year. He's right at 300. He's just a tick below. Tommy Hutton, in his spare time today, doing some math, doing his homework. Tommy has not mailed it in for these last 3 games.
Now doing a little figuring, and And if Donovan in these next 3 games goes 4 for 12, he'll end up at 300. 3 for 12 won't get it. And I'm not so sure 3 for 10 will.
The hard thing is going to be tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Figuring in those 12 at bats, you're going to get 4 of them against R.A. Dickey. Maybe 4. It could be 3, depending on how Dickey throws. And Solano.
That helps.
It does.
That helps.
A walk down to first.
All of a sudden you get a walk that came. 3 for 9 will do it.
No, the Yankees have a 4-0 lead over Boston. The Red Sox not putting up much of a fight.
Yeah, there's a review on a home run, and it looks like it is a home run hit by Russell Martin. They're waiting on the call by the umpires, but it looks like it'll be ruled a home run.
Curtis Granderson hit a 2-run homer. Robinson Cano and Martin both solo shots. We'll see what effect that has psychologically on Baltimore, who's taking on the Rays and scoreless in St. Pete in the bottom of the 3rd.
And as you and I were talking about before the game, a tough place to play.
For the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, for anybody.
I mean, you think about the magic that the Rays had there when they were down to their last game last year, and they're certainly down to their last games, these last 3. Joe Madden saying before the ball game that they've already reserved a jet. They're planning on playing somebody on Thursday. But to do that, they're going to have to sweep and hope for some help. Gil Velasquez up. You got Solano at first. Remember, Miami's had a couple runners already thrown out trying to steal, like Kelly Shopik. And Familia, who's been throwing in the mid-90s, gets 96 on that strike.
Well, he's the big kid, 6'4", 230, 22 years old.
Velasquez had 5 hits against the Mets in that series up in New York. You see Solano with a good lead. Another strike. Two and two. Soft ground ball to short. Around it is Tejada, and his throw to first is in time. Marlins done in the 2nd, on to the 3rd, a scoreless game.
Presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
There's some imbibing and some texting. A great shot of the folks out on the Budweiser balcony.
Be careful of imbibing and texting. That can get you in trouble.
And don't, by all means, and this is serious, don't text during the game when the ball's in play, especially if you're sitting down in the lower bowl. That one's popped up, fouling out of play. If you're up in the upper deck, out in the outfield, okay. But if you're sitting behind a dugout or down the line where a foul ball can get you,
keep your eye on the ball.
Absolutely. And protect those around you.
And then in between innings, you can text us tomorrow night.
That's right.
Or tweet us.
Email and Twitter Tuesday tomorrow night. And
will the email Contessa be with us for one final time tomorrow night?
I would hope so. And we've just been told Allison Williams will be in attendance the next 2 nights. Closing day, remember, starts at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. One-two and a breaking ball, swung on and missed by Familia. That's the first strikeout for Wade LeBlanc. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority, the Miami Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Fish. Mets had a couple of hits and a walk with their first 3 hitters of the second inning, and they didn't score a run. LeBlanc got a double play ball to end the inning. Remember, Brian Peterson threw out Ike Davis at the plate. So both teams have had similar innings. The Marlins had a nightmare of a first inning with 2 walks and a single to open the inning. They didn't get a runner past second. They had 2 guys thrown out trying to steal.
We've talked about the versatility of Wade LeBlanc. His last start was on the 17th of September. He's worked some games out of the bullpen. He's had 8 starts. This number 9 for him on the year.
Tejada fouls it back. Ruben Tejada has kind of been the Mets version of Donovan Solano in that he's had a chance to play with the subtraction of Jose Reyes, and he's held his own. He hasn't provided much power or speed, but that's not his game. His game is solid defense, and he's been right around 300 throughout the year. 25 doubles and a 291 average right now. To center. Gorkys is there, and he makes the catch.
So certainly LeBlanc, one who figures in the plans for next year somewhere, be it in the bullpen or starting.
Daniel Murphy hit that smash off of LeBlanc's foot that ended up by Reyes. You could hear Murphy adding the sound effects. That's a Cody Ross type reaction. Well, that's, you know what, that's justice for Murphy. He had a smash up the middle that had base hit written all over it till it hit LeBlanc's foot. That was an out. Here, his bat blows up. LeBlanc makes a great pitch, and Murphy gets the hit.
Watch him stay inside, shatters the bat. A great view from Foxmo. Murphy looking all the way and sees it drop into shallow left field.
Brings up David Wright. David Wright in the last week has been questioned an awful lot about his future with the Mets. And he takes outside, and Wright has said he has no idea if next year or the rest of his career that he'll be a Met. He said he would like to be. He's never envisioned putting on another uniform, but it's out of his control.
He talked about how special it was the Mets were in Atlanta for that series against the Braves on the Chipper Jones night, and how special it was for him to see a guy like Chipper Jones his whole career with the same ball club.
Wright swings and misses, and it's 1-2. Wright is signed through next year. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and he knocks that one into left field. David Wright is aboard for the second time. He walked back in the first. The Mets have had a slew of base runners. He's the 6th man to reach for the Mets. The 4th hit. Wright, we were talking about being on one team. He ranks 6th among active players in games played while appearing in just one uniform. We were talking yesterday about guys like this. Derek Jeter, Chipper Jones, Todd Helton.
We had Helton.
Michael Young.
Haha.
Jimmy Rollins. I think Rollins is what sparked the conversation when the Phillies were in.
Yeah, Michael Young and the Texas Rangers.
Michael Young was a Toronto Blue Jay at one time. Came up in the Blue Jays organization. He wasn't a major league Blue Jay. He was a minor league Blue Jay. Whoops. Guy's had a great career.
He has had a, yeah, that's one of those you want to look back on that deal. Turned out pretty good for Texas.
High fly ball. And Peterson in front of the Clevelander is there, and he makes the catch. Tough scoring runs in this one. Both teams have had base runners, but no runs. World's most dangerous tape room. LeVon is at the controls tonight as the Marlins and the Mets. You saw everybody getting thrown out on the bases, that is. So teams have had opportunities to score, but no one's been able to cross the plate. Wade LeBlanc, Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez for the Fish in the bottom of the third. Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine here with you. LeBlanc with a smile as he stands in against Familia, whose fastball is up, and it's 1-0.
Boy, the Yankees are running away early against the Red Sox, 7-0, the bottom of the second inning.
Again, that's got to be tough if you're Baltimore. I know not much has slowed down the Orioles, but they're in St. Pete facing a Rays team that is facing elimination, and they're looking at that scoreboard, and I'm sure they heard the news that Ellsbury and Pedroia were not in the lineup. The story I read said that Pedroia has a finger issue and an undisclosed medical issue with Ellsbury.
Yankees have hit 3 home runs. Cano, Granderson, Russell Martin.
2-2. It's good at bat by LeBlanc, who's a good hitter for a pitcher.
Maybe got to work on it a little bit. University of Alabama. Happy at their #1 ranking again.
Yeah.
Did I see a poll that it was unanimous? All the #1 votes, I thought, went to Alabama.
Let me confirm. I can neither confirm nor deny, but I can check. LeBlanc out to Bay, and he makes the catch. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey guys, all year long the umpires have been paying homage, and I actually just noticed it yesterday. I don't know why for the first time, but they have a patch on their shoulder, the left shoulder of the umpires, and here it is, MSHW, 2 of the great umpires that we've all watched and umpired, I'm sure, many of Tommy's games. Harry Wendelstedt, Marty Springstead, both dying this year. Marty died in January of a heart attack while swimming back in Sarasota. He was the youngest crew chief ever in the World Series. Umpired the 73 series between the Mets and the A's. He was only 36 years old in a few months. And Harry Wendelstedt died of brain cancer in March in 5 World Series of his own. And 2 really iconic, legendary names in the world of umpiring that we lost this year. And just wanted to pay some respects to them and tell you the umpires have been thinking of them all year long.
They have, of course, Harry Wendelstedt, his son Hunter Wendelstedt, we see, is a Major League umpire. Yeah, Harry Wendelstedt, I think, was a Major League umpire for all the years I was in the Major League. So ran across him, terrific umpire, knew how to take charge and control the game.
Of course, he umpired in an era where television wasn't advanced enough to give you replays that were decisive, especially compared to replays today with the super slow-mo and all the different angles. Back then you didn't have that many cameras, that quality of picture.
And Marty Springstead, I did not know as well because he was in the American League all the time. And of course, at that time, you had American League umpires and National League umpires.
Who was God? Was it Doug?
Doug Harvey.
Doug Harvey.
Doug Harvey.
That was his nickname. Was God?
Yes.
Was he that good?
He was good. He was an excellent home plate umpire. I mean, you'd question a call and he'd say, "No, it was just out by this much." He'd give you like a couple of inches.
I guess that's where he got the nickname.
Yeah.
I had a suspicion that Florida State had a vote in the coaches poll, and they did. The USA Today poll. Alabama, #1, 57 first place votes. LSU had a first place vote. They're behind Oregon. Oregon second, LSU third. Florida State is fourth, but they also got a first place vote.
It was one of those underground polls.
Nope. The AP poll, Tommy, you were all over.
Oh, okay.
You were so right, Tommy Hutton. 60 of 60 first place votes for the Crimson Tide. Wade LeBlanc's Crimson Tide.
Now it's going to have Ozzie and his base runners thinking a little bit, given the fact that a couple of the runners were thrown out Brian Peterson being one of them, were thrown out at second base in the first inning attempting to steal.
The funny thing is, they were bang-bang plays that could have gone either way. Peterson's leaning, not running, and Hernandez takes down. Gorkys has the only hit of the night for the Fish. A hot smash up the middle. Murphy, the second baseman, tried to backhand it, and it kicked off his glove into center field. Mark Teixeira has just homered, and the Yankees are just absolutely demolishing the Red Sox. It's 9-0.
Still the second inning. How soon do you think it takes the Boston Red Sox to make their announcement that Bobby Valentine is not back?
Well, hold on there. You're assuming that announcement is going to come, huh? You don't think he's coming back?
I do not think he's coming back.
All right, then it's pretty quick. It's Major League Baseball, I don't know if they don't really say you can't do it, but they try to persuade their teams not to make big moves and news during World Series and postseason. But a lot of teams have to if they're going to make a change, whether front office or managerial. 2-1 pitch.
And as we talked about the other night, I think one of the oddest decisions is the announcement of Bo Porter as the new manager of the Houston Astros, yet he will remain with the Nationals in their postseason as their third base coach.
You know what, though? If I'm Bo Porter and if I'm the Astros, I want Bo Porter to go through that process and watch it firsthand.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they're letting him do it and that he is doing that. And maybe the Astros had a feeling that he was going to be in the postseason, rather than interview him and go through that during the postseason.
And there have been coaches that have done that,
right,
on off days in between series.
Peterson still at first. Counts 3-2. Let's see if he's on the move. And he goes, and it's outside. And the Marlins finally get a runner out to second base. Couple of walks. It brings Dan Warthen, the pitching coach of the Mets, out to the mound. Tico, the People's Gas. Now Washington has clinched a tie. They're looking to finish the deal. The Nationals right now are trailing the Phillies 2-0. And the Braves tied 1-1 in Pittsburgh in the third. There's your wild card. The Dodgers have the Giants, and you know the Giants, who are headed to the postseason, still would love to stick it to the Dodgers and knock them out of the postseason.
Well, and they have the Giants have Matt Cain going tonight too.
Cardinals are at home against the Reds tonight. Here's Reyes, first and second, one out. Familia has good stuff, but he doesn't have a whole lot of control right now. He has walked 5.
He's at that point now where he's been effectively wild.
Yeah.
Because he's only given up the one hit. You mentioned a few years ago in 2009 in low A ball in Savannah. He was their pitcher of the year, minor league pitcher of the year.
Counts 2-0 to Reyes. Mets bullpen starts to stir. Reyes pops it towards the line. Bay is over, and he makes the catch. Melvin Ramirez is up for the Mets. And here is Stanton. The one strikeout that Jeurys Familia has was of Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, remember he started him out with a couple of really good sliders.
So he starts him with a fastball that's in. It's 1-0. Well, the White Sox and the Indians are scoreless. Tigers and Royals are just underway. Tigers have clinched at least a tie in the Central. Stanton rips one down the left field line. It is foul into the corner. Joe West making that call down the third base line. Country Joe West.
Heard an interesting conversation today with the umpire supervisor, Jim McKean, talking about the process of the umpires and how they're chosen. It's a little different than it used to be, how they're chosen for postseason. And some are eliminated early on because of injuries. Some are eliminated because they just don't have the time yet. And then you have, let's say, an umpire who's had a call or two that's been controversial against a particular club. They're not going to put that umpire in the crew that's going to work that club's series. The home plate umpires are rated.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. A swing and a miss by Stanton. And the only two strikeouts that Familia has, that man right there, Giancarlo Stanton. Coming to Miami next March, Marlins Park will host second-round action of the world's premier international baseball tournament. Many of Major League Baseball's greatest stars will compete for their home countries. For more information, go to worldbaseballclassic.com. David Wright had that big hit in Miami in 2009. And he's at Marlins Park right now. Scoreless ball game, Mets and Marlins. Cleveland Clinic fourth. Ike Davis. Big breaking ball from LeBlanc, and it's taken for a strike. Hope you join us tomorrow night, a Tuesday night, final email and Twitter Tuesday. R.A. Dickey, Jacob Turner. The Marlins are not sure who will start on Wednesday. Jeremy Hefner gets the ball for the Mets.
Yeah, it's Mark Burley's turn. He's certainly up for anything. He said, I'll do whatever the organization wants me to do. So we'll see. If it's not Burley, it would have been LeBlanc maybe, but with LeBlanc starting tonight in place of Josh Johnson, could be the type of game that we see a Chad Godin, a Tom Kohler, a little bit of the bullpen.
I'll tell you one of the things that I really like about Burley, aside from what he does on the field, is what he does off the field. 2-2 pitches foul back. Burley, more often than not, if there's an on-field presentation, be it a first pitch or an award to be handed out to a Boy Scout troop or something like that.
Military personnel.
Burley's the guy. Burley's out there. And he's shaking hands. He's posing for photos. He's catching first pitches. And you don't see that about a four-time All-Star, a guy like Burley, especially a starting pitcher.
Burley would even do that if he were starting.
Burley is one of the starting pitchers in the big leagues, and it's not the normal. Here's the 2-2. That on the day that he starts is just as happy-go-lucky as he is the other 4 days.
You could see him, and you wouldn't know if that day he was pitching or if he wasn't pitching.
Out into center field. Gorkys Hernandez is there. Ike Davis flies out to center. Here comes Kelly Shopik.
9 pitches to get Ike Davis.
Let's do some trivia. AT&T presents it. Who held the Mets record for career multi-hit games before David Wright broke it on the 8th? Well, he broke, what, Kranepool's record for the most total hits?
Yeah, Ed Kranepool had the most hits before Wright just broke it. So did Kranepool have the most extra base hits? Oh, okay. The bell was just reaffirming your Kranepool answer.
So it's multi-hit games we're looking for. What about a Jose Reyes?
Be a good guess. Because you have to think of longevity. Oh, you got the bell.
I got the bell.
You have to think of longevity. I mean, there are a lot of Met names you could throw out there. Keith Hernandez wasn't there as long as Reyes. Mookie Wilson.
See, that's big. And when one of us gets the bell, the rest of the next 24 hours before the next trivia question, that broadcaster, whether it's Craig, who the other night got the bell,
yeah,
or you or me, we can proudly say we got the bell.
You got the bell. And now that I think of it, we'll have just 2 more AT&T trivia questions. Well, we get snide comments occasionally from our crack staff insiders. Getting one from our Mets insider saying it seems like an easy one to me. Reyes, the answer.
Shopik takes away, and it's 2-2. The Rays have scored first, 1-0 over Baltimore. The Orioles, I'm sure, looking at that scoreboard, seeing the Yankees 9 and Boston nothing.
Now, just thinking about that Yankee score, Rich. CC Sabathia is pitching for the Yankees. With them leading by such a large amount, if that holds up, that allows Joe Girardi to maybe only go 5 or 6 innings with Sabathia, because he's going to be important in postseason for them. And remember, he spent a little time on the disabled list.
Yeah, what if the Yankees and the Orioles play a 1-game to decide the division? Stanton is over and he makes the catch, because that could happen if Baltimore and New York are dead even at the end. And I guess it's Thursday would be a 1-game And it's not a postseason game. It counts as a regular season game.
That's why that day is designated as an off day in between any of the postseason games.
But the wild card game is considered a postseason game, which would be on Friday. And if that scenario held on Thursday, it would be the loser of that game that would have to play in the wild card game. Here's the 1-0.
Guys, I saw Baltimore is going to host that game against the Yankees if they have that game. It said because they had a better division record.
Yeah, it's no longer the coin flip. Remember, it used to be coin flip. It's division. I believe
maybe it's head-to-head first, but are they
yes.
tied? I didn't check that, but I'm assuming they're maybe tied head-to-head.
Baltimore does have a tremendous division record. Baltimore 42-27 against the American League East. The Yankees 38-31.
Bay hooks a ground ball. Reyes backhands and throws safe. There's a good example of what you pointed out, Tommy. Jason Bay's having a miserable year, but he busts it down the line, and he has his second hit of the ball game.
He gets fooled on the off-speed pitch, and by just pulling it into the hole, he gets Jose Reyes deep enough. Jason Bay, not a bad runner. He runs up the line well, and everything into it, and he beats it out. He's 2 for 2.
He's a good athlete. Torres now.
Speaking of good players, see where David Ross hit a big 3-run homer last night for the Braves. Chris Medlin won. He's 10-1 and established that record of 23 consecutive starts that the Braves now have won when he started the game.
That's amazing. That one fouled back and out of play. Watch the fan. Oh, look at that.
Second deck backhand pick.
And did he have a drink in his left hand? Is that why he had to make the backhand pick?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And nary a drop was spilled. Did he? And it almost looked like he shielded either his spouse or date from getting hit by the ball, because she was sitting right to his left. Watch this. He goes across the body. Oh, she wears it. If he doesn't make that play, she's in big trouble.
Well, that's a great job. And you can't tell, but I think the footwork was very good, too.
Perry Hill, if you're watching, there's another great example of your instructional DVD. Footwork.
You know, catching a ball without a glove backhand is not that easy.
Well, he was protecting her. So easy doesn't count. You just got to make that play, and he did. And LeBlanc strikes out Andres Torres. Is brought to you by Nissan. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan's Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by Bennett Auto Supply. Our prices bring you in, and our people bring you back. There's the gentleman that saved the lady. Taking a look at his head. Look at that. Just outstanding work. That's right. Craig's heading up there to get the rest of the story. Here's Carlos Lee. Lee, Rob Brantley, Donovan Solano. And a breaking ball misses in to Lee. Jerry's Familia is tough to pronounce and tough to hit. The Marlins have just one hit against him. He's not had real good control. He's walked 5 and struck out 2. Both of his strikeouts are named Giancarlo Stanton.
I think we've seen 1 or 2 changeups, but primarily he's gone with that heavy sinking fastball that's been 95, 96 miles an hour, and a good slider.
Three and 0. And Lee walks 6 walks for Familia, who is throwing a 1-hit shutout. And you'd see on the Fox tracks, one of those pitches was borderline, but when you're scatter shot all over the place, you're not going to get the borderline call.
Not going to get it. He's 64 pitches, and remember Terry Collins was hoping to get 5 innings. He just may be able to squeeze that, but a few more walks he might not.
Now Brantley, who popped out his first time up. How does a guy like Familia, who, as you noted, is effectively wild, how does he make a living in the big leagues if he's this wild?
He doesn't, unless he, commands his control a little bit better. But you can't pitch consistently in the big leagues and be this wild.
But there are guys that are, as you noted, just wild enough to be effective.
When you say that, they're usually guys who aren't walking 6 in a game. They're missing with pitches. They're shuffling your feet a little bit as a hitter. But they're throwing more strikes than Familia is tonight.
Some of them are working in relief. Brantley with a high fly ball deep into the right field corner. Hairston on the track makes the catch. Tagging is Lee, and Carlos Lee gets to second. How about that?
I'll tell you what, Rich, Rob Brantley just missed hitting a second deck home run, getting one into the home run porch in right field. Had a good swing, just got under it, and alertly, Lee knew the ball was not going out of the ballpark. It was going to stay in, but it'd be deep. And he also took a chance that Harrison probably figured he wasn't going to tag. And El Caballo motored on to second base.
Solano. Donovan walked back in the second. And he sends one out to right center. Hairston is there.
Watch out for El Caballo. No, he knows he doesn't want to make that third out at third base.
Two outs. Here comes Velasquez. All right, here's the trivia answer. David Wright he's looking. Hey, come on!
In that sequence, we got the answer. We had the bell. It's Jose Reyes. No drum roll needed. In that sequence, El Caballo talked to everybody. He talked to Daniel Murphy. He talked to Andy Fletcher, the second base umpire. Yelled over at David Wright at third.
He is like the goodwill ambassador to baseball.
Nah, he's telling David, that's not my range. Gotta be a little further. It's a great part about that, though. He does all that, yet you saw him look around, he checked the outfielders. One thing he said, I'm sure to himself, Andres Torres isn't playing real deep in center field. I'm sure he noticed that.
Bayo, on the other hand, is pretty deep in left. Remember, Lee the other night was thrown out at home plate. Ball and 2 strikes to Velasquez. Miami still just has 1 hit against Familia.
That was a first inning single off the bat of Gorky Hernandez.
He's thrown 72 pitches. He's walked 6 and struck out Giancarlo Stanton twice. The Mets had Elvin up early, and he's joined now by Justin Hampson.
Well, in Familia's 137 innings in Buffalo this year, AAA, 137 innings, he walked 73. So he didn't have pinpoint control there either.
Two misses down low.
So when you walk 73, he also gave up more hits than innings pitched. 137 innings, 143 hits. So he dealt with a lot of base runners in AAA. That's why his ERA was 4.73.
He struck him out. Velasquez caught looking, scoreless to the 5th. We're back for more after this sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Edge spotlights. Ruben Tejada has been hot, has averaged over 350 in his last dozen games. Just as Tejada gives the Mets an edge, you can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard.
So we have a pinch hitter, Rich. It's going to be all for Familia. Ronnie Cedeno going to bat for Familia here in the fifth.
So it's Cedeno who bounces one off of Velasquez, who backhanded it, and Cedeno is aboard. Likely a hit on a difficult play for Gil Velasquez. You got Tejada and Murphy following the 1 and 2 hitters for the Mets. Even Cedeno's looking up at that scoreboard going, come on, hit, hit.
Backhand, tricky hop. I would say that too, but it's not.
E5.
The last couple of errors that Gil Velasquez has been charged with have been really tough plays. That's one of those do or die plays.
Well, the Mets have had a frustrating night offensively. We talked about the Marlins and all the base runners with 6 walks. The Mets with 5 hits. LeBlanc has walked a couple. Push bunt. LeBlanc picks it up. Little backhanded shovel there like an option quarterback. Maybe he did that growing up in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
That was a good play. I mean, I think his initial intent when he comes off the mound, I think he's thinking about tagging Tejada. But once Tejada just gets by him, he gives it that little shuffle, little backhand flip to Carlos Lee. Good bunt, too, by Tejada.
Yeah, you got to get that thumb down, turn the thumb up, get the good flip. He read the defensive end. Tommy, the end, committed.
I think he got an extra 5 or 6 yards.
Once that happens, you got to pitch it to the running back. Murphy's up. He has an out on a bullet and a hit on a broken bat looper. He's got another base hit. This one into center field. Hernandez throws well. Holding at third is Cedeno. And Gorky's hits Wade LeBlanc, who is standing for some reason 10 feet to the right of home plate.
Well, this is interesting. The cutoff man is supposed to be the first baseman. Carlos Lee playing back with the left-handed bat of Murphy up there. Because that ball was hit sharply, that's always one of the tougher plays to get to as a cutoff man if you're the first baseman. El Caballo just couldn't get there. Though alertly, LeBlanc was able to turn around and see the throw come in, which was a good throw.
Now the Mets have got David Wright up there. LeBlanc, remember, has the good pickoff move. Murphy has 10 stolen bases on the year. He's at first. Cedeno is the runner at third. And Wright, who has driven in 91 runs, waits at the plate. Make it 92 into center field. A solid hit from Wright. He's 2 for 2. Is that David Wright?
Some good swings in this inning from Murphy and Wright, and it was all set up by the nice sacrifice bunt of Tejada. We'll break the ball out over the plate. Boy, you see that solid swing, concentration of Wright.
With Hairston at the plate. Randy St. Clair on the mound. Mets have grabbed a 1-0 lead. And of course, the Mets starter, Jeurys Familia, left for a pinch hitter.
So he will not figure in any decision because he only went 4 innings.
Here's Hairston. First and second. Hairston an 0 for 2 night. The Mets have scattered 7 hits. All of them singles. LeBlanc getting the call to make the start. Josh Johnson with some tightness in a hamstring. And rather than try to nurse Johnson through this start tonight or see if he can go tomorrow or Wednesday, the Marlins have called it a season for Josh.
The problem is the Marlins offense thinks that Josh Johnson's out there with the lowest run support in the major leagues, under 3 runs a game, 2.92. It's been a struggle. There's no question about it. There's JJ. Thought had a solid year. Think can make improvements, but 31 starts, over 190 innings. Marlins over their last 10 games have gone 1-9. Most runs they've scored in any of those games was 5, and that was in a loss. That was in that 9-5 loss.
Change up. Hairston out in front, end of the bat, and Peterson makes the catch. So the second out of the 5th inning. Here's Josh Johnson and his season numbers on the left. You can see the run support. Those are the career numbers on the right leading into this season. Cut down on the stolen base percentage. Pitches per inning was right around there. His batting average against, remember he got singled to death early in the season. His batting average against was very high through April.
And his season win-loss record is 8-14, but you know, you think about it, very easily could be 11-11, been at least that. So improvement, yes, I think we could see that in JJ, but certainly a terrific year and a healthy year for him. That was the key.
We said it the other day. I think if you ask Josh, and certainly if you ask the Marlins, the hope is now that he has a healthy year behind him, he can go into the offseason with that same workout regimen and try to get back to the dominant starter that he had been earlier in his career, that ace type guy. Mike Davis is singled and flied out. David Wright with an RBI single. An unearned run against Wade LeBlanc.
A couple men on base, so you can't get the full shift on as Tom Kohler loosens up. But Donovan Solano is deep enough with Davis up there.
Gorkys Hernandez. Ball's hit pretty well. Hernandez drifting towards the wall. Makes the catch. A long out off the bat of Ike Davis. Mets get a run and lead it 1-0. with a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. The Subway sub prize on the line for the next 3 nights. The American League wild card, you've got Baltimore and New York tied atop. Oakland is a game back of that pair. The Angels 3 back, the Rays 3 back as well. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, you saw the great catch earlier. This is Jason from Hollywood Beach, who made the backhanded stab. I asked him if you had to play some baseball.
Played a little baseball in high school, and I just reached her because if I didn't, it was going to hit her, and I could not have that happen, so I had to catch it.
You were holding the drink as well at the
I
time?
didn't want to spill that either. We were getting ready to get another cocktail.
Especially at these prices around ballparks these days. But you made a backhanded catch. Did you think you were going to get hurt on that?
I just thought look away and hope for the best.
What did you think of his catch? Did you tell him?
Amazing, amazing. Good job.
Have you guys come to it as a date to the ballpark before?
No, this is her first baseball game that she's ever been to, and my first time here at the new ballpark, and it's absolutely beautiful and really enjoying ourselves.
Have you ever caught a ball before?
No, that's the first time I caught a ball, ever.
These are kind of neat, too, because it's got the Marlins Park inaugural stamp on it. So here you go.
Thank you very much.
Way to go. And did it hurt at all? Good backhanded with the hand.
It would have hurt me more if it hit her in the face.
Oh.
So it didn't hurt, no.
This must be an early date, yes?
Yes.
Okay. First date?
No.
All right. It's not the dating game here. Have a good time.
Don't pry.
Let's go. I'm prying, yeah. You're right.
He had the right answers. That guy's smooth.
Yeah.
He had the right answers.
It's been a good night so far.
Yeah.
hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. just starting too, I think.
we may want to go somewhere else for the Subway sub prize. Scott Cousins is up. Cousins with Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez to follow.
They have a new pitcher, a pinch hitter.
Elvin Ramirez, who we saw up in the bullpen a couple of times. Let's introduce him to the telecast.
Making his 18th appearance. 2-seam, 4-seamer. Mixes in a changeup.
Both starting pitchers go just 4 innings. Cousins takes up. It's 3-2. And that is ball 4. Matt Wieters just homered for the Baltimore Orioles. He hit it down that little corner. Remember where Longoria's big shot went last year? And that game is tied 1-1. Baltimore and the Rays. Brian Peterson, our true little hot sauce spotlight player. Attended Cal Irvine. Is a aspiring movie producer. 4th round pick, Chatsworth High School.
Yeah, Alex Cobb pitching in that game for the Rays. Wei-Yin Chen pitching for the Orioles.
Ball and a strike. The Marlins in this game don't have a run, and yet they have drawn 7 walks in 4+ innings. That's hard to do.
7 walks and 1 base hit, so 8 base runners.
A line drive double play. With Murphy moving to his left, Peterson lines into a 4-3 double play.
There was a similar play to that effect the other night that I didn't think could have been avoided. I think this one possibly could have. It wasn't hit that sharply. And when you see that ball lined like that, instead of taking a couple of steps, you're better off freezing. If it gets through, goes into right field, you're going to make it to second base. Your intent isn't to think about getting to third. If you think about getting to third, you're going to take those extra steps. Then if it's caught, you're doubled off the way Scott Cousins was. Tough play, not an easy play, especially when you're not in there all the time.
BB&T bring you Fox Tracks.
So far tonight, it appears that Mike Belinsky's strike zone is a small strike zone.
But a consistent one.
But it's been that way on both sides. I would imagine that Jerry Familia would attest to that, too.
That ball's hit well, left center field. Hernandez going to run a while as it goes up against the wall. Gorky puts it in gear on his way to third, and he's in there. For all the struggles that Gorky Hernandez has had this year, you see flashes of what people have seen in him, and this is one of them.
You know, a triple is an exciting play, and I think it's even more exciting when a guy has the speed of a Gorky Hernandez. It's his third triple of the year, and this ball finds that gap in left center, and right about now he's thinking three. By the time the Mets get it in, there really isn't even a play at third base.
Reyes with a chance to tie the game with 2 outs. Elvin Ramirez misses down low. Reyes fouls it back to the screen. The count's 1-1. So the Rays and the Orioles are tied 1-1. Bottom 7 in St. Pete. Yankees are demolishing the Red Sox 9-1 in the 5th in the Bronx. Oakland and Texas will get underway in about an hour. We can listen to Ken Korak on the way home.
White Sox have a lead over Cleveland.
Counts 1-2. And the Tigers are scoreless in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think our choices on satellite radio tonight would either be that Texas-Oakland game or the Giant-Dodger game in L.A.
Ramirez wanted the strike. Reyes kind of bent over to watch that one. And it's 2-2. Chopper to first. Davis has it, gets to the bag in front of Reyes. Marlins leave a runner at third. A frustrating night and a 1-0 Mets lead. you go, guys and gals. Closing day on Wednesday at 4:10. Ready Gold. All fans receive a 2013 schedule magnet courtesy of Net 10 Wireless. Postgame Plaza Party, 1-877 Marlins. There's your line score.
Look at MJ, Jim Holly,
John Sulser.
John Sulser. They are at attention. They are on the top of their game.
You can see Keith Gamble standing up and Kenny Lee in the back row on keyboards. Jim Holly shouting, "Get off that shot."
And all the guys in the truck saying, "No, we like that shot.
We like that shot." FaceTime. Kelly Shopik, who's as responsible for this 1-0 lead as anybody in a Mets uniform, even though he's walked and flied out. Shopik threw out 2 base stealers in the first. The first 2 guys to reach, Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez. Shut him down. And Miami doesn't have a run. David Wright's RBI single. Tom Kohler.
I think what we've seen from Tom Kohler, we will see a different way that he's used when we see him in games this spring. Because in the past, we always saw Tom Kohler, the starting pitcher. But I think he's crossed over to an area where if he's going to make it to the big leagues and stay here, this is where it's going to be, out of the bullpen.
Not necessarily crossing over to the dark side, but
not when you cross over to the big leagues.
No, that's the good stuff. Kohler misses with the breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Well, that would make the folks at Stony Brook quite happy.
Absolutely.
They came out in numbers.
Yeah, they were
the Mo zone out
City,
in right.
Yeah, at City Field.
A team that had a storybook run to the College World Series this year. Shopik fouls it off. Count 1-2. The Mets open their 2013 season at home against the Padres.
And then the Marlins come to town, to New York, because I think the Marlins open in Washington, D.C., and then go on to New York.
It's always amusing when 2 warm weather teams, Padres, Marlins, open their seasons in the Northeast.
Well, you try to figure it out, and you just get more confused.
Because it's impossible to do that schedule. That one's hit hard and well. Shopik has got extra bases. It rattles around in the corner. Peterson picks it up. And the Mets have a leadoff double. Kelly Shopik.
I think Shopik took care of that Kohler curveball that didn't have good bite to it. Good spot to hit. So a leadoff double for the Mets.
And Jason Bay coming to the plate. The Rays have reclaimed the lead 2-1 over Baltimore in the bottom of the 7th. Bay gets around on that one, drives it to deep left center. Hernandez, a running catch. Nice play by Gorkys Hernandez. He's made a couple running catches out in that territory.
Gorkys Hernandez has had a tremendous game tonight. A couple of hits, a triple, got a nice jump. Here's how speed can make up for things. He maybe took a little turn in, but adjusted, and with the quickness and speed was able to get there and make the catch.
Randy St. Clair out to talk to Tom Kohler. Andres Torres is the hitter.
The pitcher spot is up next, but Mike Baxter, left-handed hitter, has gotten into the on-deck circle.
So Torres is bounced into a double play and struck out. Kohler goes after him. Breaking ball that just misses. 1-0. Well, next spring training leading up to opening day for both the Marlins and the Mets. Spring training is going to start a little early because of the World Baseball Classic. I'm sure just about every major league team will be affected by that. We've got the tournament starting. You've got 16 countries that open up in 4 different cities to start the tournament.
I think the toughest part for major league teams is that guys are in and out in spring training. Guys who are playing on different teams in the World Baseball Classic. And it's really hard. You really have to work toward the last couple of weeks of spring training to get some nice continuity and putting together your ball club. It's tough for a fringe player who might need the entire spring training to make the ball club, yet he goes off and plays for his country in the WBC.
And for some guys that don't have a team, the World Baseball Classic can help them get to the big leagues. Say a guy wants to get invited to camp but doesn't quite get an invite, but he's playing for the Dominican Republic, for Venezuela, for
certainly showcases players.
United States can showcase against major league talent. You're facing major league pitching. If you're a pitcher, you're facing major league hitting. Line to the left, that's going to drop for a base hit.
I think that's been the case, Rich, for a couple of the Asian players that have come over here either with Japan or with Korea, that they've had a chance to showcase their talents a little.
Remember in 2009, Bernie Williams was trying to make a comeback, and he was playing down for the Puerto Rican team. He didn't quite make it back, but it was a chance for him to showcase and show that he still had it. And I want to say that Pedro Martinez pitched for the Dominican team that year. That's a liner down the right field line, and that's going to get into the corner. Baxter, is that you? Extra bases. Mike Baxter makes it 2-0.
Boy, 3 hits in the inning off Tom Kohler. Shopik's double, the base hit by Torres, and now first pitch fastball. Baxter is right on it for an RBI double himself.
Infield comes in a 2-0 game. The Mets have a whopping 10 hits and 2 runs. The Marlins don't have a run. They have just 2 hits. Ruben Tejada fouls it off.
Mets are 5 for 11 tonight with runners in scoring position. Marlins 0 for 5.
course, Marlins Park is hosting second round action of the World Baseball Classic. The other second round site is the Tokyo Dome in Japan, with the finals at AT&T Park in San Francisco. The first round is a round robin, and the sites are Fukuoka in Japan, Taiwan, Iram Bithorn Stadium in Puerto Rico, and Phoenix, Arizona. They'll play some of the games at the Salt River Fields and at Chase Field. Well, you talk about a loaded, I'm just looking at some of the first round matchups, a loaded region. The San Juan bracket.
Yeah, how's that region loaded up?
Venezuela, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican. And a qualifier for one of the teams that wins one of the qualifiers. Someone's going down.
So I was going to say one of those teams would not advance.
That's right. Only two are going to get out of there.
So two of those teams won't advance.
But one of those will be one of the big three. And it was the Dominican in 09 that didn't get out of there, but it was an underdog that took them down. Venezuela will be loaded. Puerto Rico will be loaded. Dominican Republic will be loaded. The U.S. starts in Phoenix with Italy, Mexico, and a qualifier.
Could see Gil Velasquez on the Mexican team.
Velasquez comes home, and it's waiting for Torres, who slides in and is tagged out. The Mets have had two guys thrown out at the plate. The Marlins have had two guys thrown out at second. That's a fielder's choice off the bat of Tejada.
An alert play by Gil Velasquez. Picks, comes up with a nice throw for Brantley, who's there to put the tag on Torres. Hey, just thinking about it, Gil Velasquez maybe starting a double play with Alfredo Amezaga, maybe in the middle infield with the Mexico team. Never know.
Ozzie Guillen is out, and he's going to go to the bullpen. Kohler exits. Dan Jennings comes in. It's 2-0 Mets. It's the 6th. And here is Dan Jennings as he takes over with 2 outs. Runners first and second. Daniel Murphy at the plate. And Jennings goes to work. Breaking ball misses down low. And it's 1-0. The Rays 4, Baltimore 1. Boston has put up little resistance to the Yankees. It's 9-1 New York in the 7th. That game in St. Pete is bottom 7. Left field line, Velasquez, foul territory, makes the catch. And a nice play. Mets add a run and lead it 2-0. The 6th. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. 3 games left, including this one. This is an odd one. I mean, the Marlins got their first 3 runners aboard, but didn't get a runner past second. They had 2 guys thrown out trying to steal. The Mets have had 2 guys thrown out at the plate. The Mets have a slew of hits, 10 of them, but just 2 runs. The Marlins have just 2 hits.
Yeah, offensively, the Marlins have struggled. This is something we've seen over the last month. I believe the Marlins have been shut out this year 17 times. That's a franchise record. You generate a little something tonight. There's still a little time, though.
And as you look towards 2013, offense certainly a concern for the Marlins and a priority. Stanton reaches out, gets a breaking ball, hammers it to left. That's got a chance, and it goes!
It's well timed. Offense! We're talking about offense!
And Stanton hits a laser to left, his 37th. Now, when that left the bat, you're thinking maybe it's in the gap, but it just kept going and going, and it gets over the fence. It's 2-1.
There's no way when that left the bat you thought it would get out because it'd be high enough. You didn't think it'd have enough trajectory to get out, but he hits the ball so hard. It got there in a hurry, and it had just enough.
It didn't even sound like he got it cleanly. It almost sounded like he got it off the end of the bat.
So he greets Manny Acosta, who comes in to pitch for the Mets. Here's the pitch. A little slider. Poole home run. Clevelander Poole out over the plate. Stroked sharply.
Acosta zips in a fastball for a strike. Watch this. And it just gets over. And for Stanton now, the 93 career home runs, and of course he's not turned 23 yet, ties him with Frank Robinson as the 5th most home runs before the age of 23. Now he's 2 shy of the man who has the 4th most, and that's Alex Rodriguez at 95.
That's amazing. He's hit 3 since he's come back.
Lee shoots it into right field. All of a sudden the Marlins Getting some better swings up there. Comes Rob Brantley.
I'm telling you, I hope Marlins fans realize what they have in the opportunity to see a guy like Giancarlo on a daily basis. He has more power than anybody in the big leagues. He generates bat speed. He works at his craft. And to miss 9 games and then to come back and swing the bat the way he has is pretty incredible as well.
Yeah, 18 home runs in 41 games since the All-Star break. Brantley 0 for 2. And a big swing and a miss at a changeup. He's 0 for 3.
Yeah, I saw a couple of good changeups from Acosta. The distance on that, 394, but that's one that we need to register with the stopwatch because it got out so quickly.
Solano now. Outside of the telecast, we talked about over the next 3 nights, this night included, what can you watch for if you're a Marlin fan? One of those was Donovan Solano's quest to hit 300. He's walked and he's flied out, so he's 0 for 1. And his average opened the night at 299. It's down to 298. Soft ground ball. Murphy to his left, spins. Solano out. Wow. Rob Drake making the call, serenaded by the Marlins Park crowd.
You know why I like that, though? Because that tells me the crowd's into Solano trying to stay and get to 300. The good play by Daniel Murphy is shaded over for a double play. Nice footwork. Boy, I'm not sure. Get a great look here. Oh, I think he beat it. I think he beat it. And, boy, would you hate that to cost him hitting 300. But, bang, bang play. Foot's there. It's very close.
It's very close.
It's very close.
And you or I watching it in real time from Rob Drake's perspective, it's flip a coin for both of us.
But then again, you give credit to Murphy. He made a nice play at second base.
Velasquez now with Lee at second. And Gill went around. (9-2) Yankees on top of the Red Sox. That game going into the 8th. Justin Hampson in the bullpen. As we told you, the Rays had opened up a 4-1 lead over Baltimore on the top of the 8th. Velasquez pops it first base side foul. Davis is there and he makes the catch with Murphy sliding in behind him. Nice play by Ike Davis. Marlins get a run. Giancarlo Stanton's 37th. Check in with Craig Minervini.
All right, heartwarming story coming up tomorrow here for the Marlins and really for all the baseball. Even the Mets were talking about it today. R.A. Dickey said, look, I've been given a lot of extra chances in my life. I look forward to potentially facing this Adam Greenberg, 31 years of age. But Dickey also said, hey, he's a big leaguer, and I'm going to treat him just like a big leaguer. A steady dose of my best, and that's what I'm sure Adam Greenberg wants no matter who he faces. One thing we do know for sure is, although Ozzie told us last week he might lead him off for the game, that's been scrapped. Probably won't play in the field at all. Probably will come up sometime in the middle of the game, though Ozzie said if it's a key pinch hit, I'm playing to win the game, I might have to go with one of my best pinch hitters. But he'll get in there somewhere along the way, and it should be fun to watch tomorrow. And we'll talk to him. I think he's having a press conference in the afternoon, and we'll detail it for you and get a chance to watch him as well during Marlins Live on the ballgame tomorrow night.
And I know, guys, it's tough for a major league hitter, a good major league hitter right now, to face R.A. Dickey. So for Greenberg, facing R.A. Dickey is going to be an enormous challenge, and that's if Dickey's in the game when Ozzie chooses to pinch hit him.
You know, you had a situation like tonight in the fourth inning when Scott Cousins pinch hit. Had LeBlanc going just 4 early in the game, leading the inning off. That's the kind of situation Ozzie's going to look for. And hopefully it comes around.
Ryan Webb has come into the ball game for the Fish. He takes over for Dan Jennings. No matter how it goes for Greenberg, if he does face R.A. Dickey may win the Cy Young. I mean, what better way to say that your one at bat was against a Cy Young Award winner?
Yeah. I think in Adam Greenberg's position, he doesn't really care who he faces. Just that he's getting the opportunity.
I like the quote from Terry Collins. You know, on our pregame show on Marlins Live and in most of the papers and websites, Ozzie Guillen's been the one quoted about this. Well, Terry Collins was asked about it, and Collins says he supports the Marlins' decision. He said, I think it's a wonderful story. Collins said, I know there are some pros and cons about why does he get the one at bat when a lot of other guys don't. Well, you know what? He did make it. He was good enough to get there at one time. Had he not been hit in the head, who knows what would have happened to him. He could be a star today. He could be an everyday major league player today. He said, I think it's a great story for him to come up with all that's been happening to him and all that he's had to fight through.
That's a great quote. It's great sentiment, and it makes a tremendous amount of sense. He did make it, and that's why he was called up 7 years ago.
There's a Lucas Duda sighting, and he arrives here in place of Scott Hairston. Duda had a big home run the other night, spoiled Chipper Jones' night. He takes down low.
Yeah, just under 52,000, I think, at Turner Field that night.
Ike Davis is on deck. Dusty Baker back after his mini stroke, which is good to hear. Tallest man in baseball history, John Roush, and our good friend Ricky Bonas, the bullpen coach of the Mets. Baker had to watch Homer Bailey's no-hitter on TV.
Bonus makes his home in Pembroke Pines. So nice for him to finish the season here in Miami.
There are traditions in baseball as seasons come to an end. One of those are large boxes, moving boxes, in front of everybody's locker. Guys sending all their baseball gear back home, the stuff that they need for their off-season workouts. Line into center field, a base hit. Lucas Duda with a hit. And the moving boxes, of course, are provided by All My Sons Moving and Storage. They bring you the pull. Best Marlins newcomer this season: Reyes, Brantley, Ruggiano, Solano, Burley. I like the fact Solano's up 33-22 over Brantley and Ruggiano.
Yeah, and I think in the cases of Reyes and Burley, yes, they're newcomers. They've been here all year, and so people don't really look at them as newcomers, but you certainly could throw votes their way with what they've both done this year. But I like the Solano pick.
Ike Davis up right now. Davis has singled, flied out a couple times.
We need to get some of those moving boxes up here, Rich. We have to move a few things out of our booth.
Well, because in the offseason, Marlins Park is scheduled to host a couple of soccer matches, and you never know what else might take place here. I know the Marlins are planning on replacing the playing field. Davis with a one-handed swing, and he hits it to right. Giancarlo Stanton makes the catch. It almost looked like he had the top hand come off the bat and came through with just his bottom hand.
Well, he was fooled on that slow breaking ball by Ryan Webb. It's a good pitch. He's way out in front, but then it just reaches. There goes the top hand and pulls it to the warning track.
That's a strong man. Shopik now. It's a sharp ground ball to Reyes at short. And he gets the out at second. Ryan Webb, nice inning out of the pen. 2-1 Mets. of the 7th here in Miami. If you go to the Marlins homepage on foxsportsflorida.com, you can vote on tonight's poll question. Question is, who is the Marlins MVP this season? John Roush, all tatted up and ready to go. Roush at 6'11" is the tallest player in Major League history, just edging out, among others, Randy Johnson at 6'10".
He's a guy, too, the Marlins have seen a lot of over the years.
In a variety of uniforms.
Yeah, pitching with Montreal a little bit. Certainly the Nationals for about 3 years. Arizona. They missed him a couple of years. He went on to Minnesota and Toronto.
Now with the Mets, and he's facing Kearns. And he almost gets hit by that pitch. It was up and in. So Kearns pinch hitting in the bottom of the 7th in the pitcher spot. You've got Brian Peterson and Gorkys Hernandez coming up next. The Mets have 2 runs on 11 hits. The Marlins a run on 4 hits. Keith Bell in the Marlins pen. Roush with a big breaking ball, and it's up. 24,543. And Kearns walks.
That's the 8th walk the Marlins have drawn tonight. 6 from Familia. Ramirez walked the batter, and number 1 there for John Roush.
That's the amazing thing about the night. The Marlin pitchers have walked just 2. So the Marlins have walked 2 and given up 11 hits. So you've got 13 base runners there. Marlins have 4 hits and have drawn 8 walks. That's 12 base runners.
So about the same amount of base runners.
Yeah. Marlins had 2 guys thrown out at second in the first inning. The Mets have had 2 guys thrown out at the plate.
Nice little drama going on in Kansas City in that Tigers-Royals game.
Yeah, Miguel Cabrera is continuing to swing the bat and swing it well. Miggy's hit his 44th.
44 home runs.
Davis thought about second and just got Peterson at first. Kearns is safely at second. In that game, Cabrera is 2 for 3 as well. His batting average is .327. His home run is his 44th, and his RBI is his 137th. A little shot put.
So he had been tied with Josh Hamilton in that home run department. He leads in batting average, a substantial lead in RBIs, and a chance to do something that hasn't been done since 1967. Win a Triple Crown. And I think as the years have gone by, I think it's been tougher to do, especially in the era of home runs, because you had specific hitters who were home run guys and not batting average. They would drive in some runs and they would strike out a lot. So I think it's made it difficult over the years for somebody to approach that Triple Crown and win it. And Miguel Cabrera has a chance, real good chance.
Fastball in, and Hernandez couldn't hold up. Gorky's has singled, tripled, and walked. Maybe it was Miggy's performance that has inspired Everett Cabrera to start stealing bases, and now he leads the National League with 41 stolen bases. Now that really would be something if you could win those 4 categories.
Then you have the youngest player ever to be a 30-30 man out in Anaheim, Mike Trout.
Wins above replacement is the metric that Trout has an edge over Cabrera. Defense figured into that. Liner into left. That's a base hit. Kearns will stop at third base. And Gorky's Hernandez with a single.
Gorky's Hernandez 3 for 3. He's been on base all 3 times. He walked his other time, and he's made a couple of nice catches in center field. Kearns has to pause. The hanging breaking ball. Kearns has to pause, make sure that ball gets through. Charged well by Bay, so no chance for Austin Kearns to score. There he is. There's the pause. Once you do that, you're usually not going to score on a sharply hit ball.
So here's Reyes. Now, one thing the Marlins can do here is they can start Gorky's. Roush takes a while to get to the plate. The middle infield is looking for a ground ball, looking for a double play. Right on the infield grass at third.
Yeah, Reyes is a tough guy to double up anyway. But you're right about Roush. Once he decides to make that delivery to the plate, he's slow to the plate.
Reyes out in front of a changeup. It's 0-1. 2-1 Mets, bottom 7.
Not the pitch he was thinking about getting from the big right-hander.
Ball and a strike. Here's the 1-1. Reyes pops it towards the seats. Right gets over there, and it's out of play. Now it's 1-2. Roush looking for a strikeout. Reyes trying to put it in play. This stat is now known in our production truck as the Dobbs stat, and that is how often do you get a runner in from third with less than 2 outs. Reyes 46%. That's under the major league average, which is just over 50%. That's going to get him in. Center field, deep. Torres back, makes the catch. Both runners tag, and Kearns comes across. And this game is tied. Reyes delivers.
I think Hernandez got back a little late, but it's not that big a deal because you think he can steal a bag too and get to second base.
Well, and at the same time too,
he's thinking about scoring if it goes over the head of the center fielder, Andres Torres.
Right, and as well, he did get back to the bag and started towards second, but he didn't want to get thrown out at second. He's a faster man than Kearns is, so in theory, he's going to arrive at second faster than Kearns is going to arrive at the plate. And if he is out, then that would negate Kearns' run. Plus, I don't think he wants to go anywhere now. I think he just wants to watch Roush pitch to Stanton. Because the last time that Stanton was up, our Warren Henry drive of the game.
For a big man, that is such a compact swing.
Popped up foul and out of play. Oh, and 2. And a swing and a miss. Stanton goes down. Roush strikes him out. Marlins get their run. Jose Reyes a sacrifice fly and a 2-2 game. Disparity in hits. Mets have 11, Marlins have 5. But as we've told you, the Mets' control has been an issue. 8 walks given up. Heath Bell for Miami takes over. The former Met will get the bottom third of the order as the Mets and the Marlins open up the final series of 2012. And the Mets have dominated this series this year. They've gone 11-4 against the Fish and have won the last 7.
Yeah, the Marlins right now have lost 9 of 10. They had a month of September that certainly did not go well. 8-19 in the month of September.
It seemed like this year for the Marlins, they either had a really good month or a really bad month. Bay lines it to right. Stanton comes on and makes the catch. Pitch in and out. And here comes Torres. Wade LeBlanc started. He went 5, 7 hits, a run. It was unearned. His final start of the season, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Tom Kohler for 2/3, a run on 3 hits. Dan Jennings came in and got an out and finished the 6th. Ryan Webb a scoreless inning. And here is Bell. Torres is 1 for 3.
Now for Heath Bell, it was a very good month of September with the numbers that he put up.
Look at the career numbers against Bell. Not so good. A lot of National League West showdowns when Torres was a Giant and Bell was a Padre. Ramon Ramirez. And Bell loses it. Torres walks. Mike Baxter, who stayed in the ball game and played right field. Comes up. Baxter had a big hit, a double in the 6th, driving in a run. David Wright RBI single in the 5th, the other run scoring hit for the Mets. Tom Goodwin talking to Torres. Baxter sitting on a 1-0 count. Runner goes. The throw into the runner hits the runner. And Torres has got a stolen base and a sore arm.
It's a tough pitch for Brantley to make a throw on. Torres has good speed, and you can see that ball coming. Catch him on the backside. Got that left shoulder. But the pitch was down and in to Baxter, the hitter. And not an easy play for a catcher to backhand that low pitch and then try to come up with a strong throw, an accurate throw.
Brantley really hasn't been in too many spots where he's had a chance to throw a runner out.
But he looks good making throws. Certainly it's an area he wants to improve on. But he's made some good throws. Makes a nice stop there.
Mike Dunn in Miami's pen. Bell with a count 2-1. Baxter, a native of Queens and a star at Vanderbilt. Baltimore is rallying in the 9th in St. Pete. 5-3 Rays. 1 out, and the Orioles have a couple on. If you've been following baseball tonight, you know that the Yankees are hammering Boston 9-2.
Got a big home run by Chris Davis. 2-run shot off Kyle Farnsworth.
They need Jim Thome to knock one out of the park.
Chris Davis is the guy a lot of people don't know about. That was his 32nd home run this year.
I told you Miguel Cabrera has hit his 44th. Baxter fouls it at the plate. Josh Hamilton and the Rangers are getting ready to take on Oakland. That game minutes away from starting at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. See, the Angels and the Rays not only have to win, but they need help. They need Texas to take Oakland down. Baxter strikes out. Bell stays with it. He gets the second out of the inning. Torres is still at second. And here comes Tejada.
Stayed with his breaking ball, too. Made some good pitches the last 2 pitches.
Tejada pulls one wide of third. And it's 0-1. After the game, Marlins Live presented by Checkers. See where Terry Francona is set to interview with the Cleveland Indians on Friday.
I think it's going to come down to either Francona or Sandy Alomar Jr. Francona with a nice connection to the front office and the Indians. And it was the Cleveland Indians. It would be very appropriate who his father, Tito, played with for so many years as a major league player.
Here's the 1-1. Chopper back to the mound. Bell has it. Flips on over to first in time. And Heath Bell works a scoreless 8th. Marlins go to work. Bottom of the 8th in a 2-2 game. Shirt gun. 4 for 54 family pack. Tomorrow night against the Mets, the final opportunity. 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, 4 bags of chips, starting at just $54. 7:10 tomorrow night. You can order your tickets online at marlins.com. Marlins and Mets tomorrow night, and then closing day, 4 o'clock start on Wednesday. Follow along with us as we meet Fred Lewis.
Fred Lewis bats in that spot that's been very busy tonight, the number 4 spot in the lineup. Remember, Lucas Duda pinch hit. John Rauch came into that spot. Ramirez is in that spot. Now Fred Lewis is in the number 9 spot. And there is Ramon Ramirez.
Carlos Lee, a 1 for 2 days, followed by Rob Brantley and then Donovan Solano.
So in this game, Rich, we've seen Elvin Ramirez for the Mets, and now Ramon Ramirez.
Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1.
He's got a good slider, but he uses his changeup as much as his fastball.
It's a final in St. Pete, 5-3. The Rays beat Baltimore. And so it looks like Baltimore is going to fall a game back behind the Yankees, who are still up 10-2 over the Red Sox in the ninth. Lee trying to get on base, trying to lead off the 8th. And he's aboard. And Ramon Ramirez, following the tradition set by everybody else on the mound for the Mets. That is walk number 9 of the night.
You know, the amazing thing about that Yankees game is that Sabathia has gone 8 innings. Which, that to me, that's a little bit of a surprise. I know there have been some issues in the bullpen with the Yankees, but you know he's going to be an important figure come postseason time.
And it could be sooner rather than later.
He's out of there now, but he did go 8 innings tonight. But you know what? He probably wanted it no other way. 103 pitches, not that many for Sabathia.
The earliest the Yankees could need another starter would be Thursday, if they finish tied with Baltimore for the division title. And then they could conceivably play another game on Friday. A lot of moving parts. One thing is for sure, the Red Sox did not have their best team on the field with Pedroia and Ellsbury out. Ellsbury with an undisclosed issue. And Pedroia apparently had a finger problem. That one pulled foul. And the Yankees have 2 more games against the Red Sox, who, in all fairness, the Rays and the Orioles have been playing the Red Sox as well, so everyone's been getting their shots in.
And of course, Yankee fans don't mind taking shots at the Red Sox.
That one goes all the way to the screen, and Lee trots down to second. I mean, the Orioles just swept Boston in a 4-game series, I believe.
Now this really helps, even though there are 2 strikes on Rob Brantley. If he can just pull a ball, and that's not that easy when you have 2 strikes on it. But if he can do that, all of a sudden you get Lee at third with 1 out.
A liner, and it's down the line, and it's fair.
Or you just drive him in.
And Brantley has knocked in Carlos Lee. Miami takes a 3-2 lead.
Boy, that's double the fun, because now you have Brantley at second. Now you can get him to third with less than 2 out. What a great job by Rob Brantley. We've seen that kind of swing ever since he first joined the club on August 14th when he made his Major League debut. I was talking to him today. He had a great line. There's off the end of the bat, talking about the pitcher he was going to face tonight, Familia, you know, having never seen him. And he said, well, most of the guys I've faced I haven't seen before.
Carlos Lee picking him up, putting him down. RBI double for Brantley, his 8th double of the season. And here's Solano, who fouls it back. One more thought on the fact that the Yankees get to finish with the Red Sox and the Orioles have to finish against the Rays. Coming into the series against the Rays, 6 of Baltimore's last 9 games have been against the Red Sox, and they've won 5 of those 6 games.
So they've had their fair share.
Solano pops up a bunt. Shopik barehands it, and that's an out at second base on a double play. Nifty footwork by Tejada to stay on the bag, and Shopik with a pretty impressive double play. You don't see this very often.
Well, that's a great double play. A tough play for Solano. He's trying to move Brantley, and Brantley's trying to get as good a lead and good a jump as he can. Just can't quite get back in time as Shopik made a good play, and so did Tejada.
Strike to Velasquez.
So an 0 for 3 night for Donovan Solano.
And that quest for 300 doesn't get easier tomorrow, as we pointed out, with R.A. Dickey. Velasquez swings and misses, and it's 1-2. Cishek watching, waiting. Mets have 2, 3, 4 coming up in the 9th. The Washington Nationals lost 2-0 to the Phils. But the Braves lost 2-1 to the Pirates, so the Nationals have clinched the East. The Kyle Kendrick win for the Phillies. John Lannon took the loss. Lannon's 4-1.
Yeah, Kendrick with 7 shutout innings. The Tigers have a 6-2 lead in the 7th inning in Kansas City. The White Sox have won, but if the Tigers go on and win, they'll clinch that Central Division in the American League.
So the Braves essentially were about 90% sure they were headed for that wild card game. Now get ready for it. Velasquez bangs it into center field for a hit. 2-out single by Velasquez. Hey, Greg Dobbs will get the at bat. St. Louis, a team that the Dodgers are quite interested in, leads the Reds 4-2 in the 7th. The Dodgers are 2 back in the wild card, and the Dodgers are underway against the Giants at Dodger Stadium, scoreless.
Nice crowd on hand in D.C. to be there. 35,000, a little over 35,000.
Well, good luck to the Nationals. Good luck to the Braves.
Fitting to the Nationals and their fans, who were all in an uproar of all the Philly fans coming over watching their games in D.C.
I suspect that wasn't the case tonight. Ball and a strike to Dobbs. Ramon Ramirez walked Carlos Lee through an exceptionally wild pitch that moved Lee to second, and then Rob Brantley doubled him home. That's the first division title for that franchise since the Expo days. Was it 1981?
81.
They were beaten in the National League Championship Series
by the Dodgers
on Blue Monday. When Rick Monday homered. Dobbs fouls it back to the screen.
Yeah, it was a game that was supposed to have been played Sunday, but it rained out, awful weather. The game ended up being played Monday. So the president's race will continue in postseason.
That will be interesting to see if they, I mean, they've pulled out a lot of stops this year, but I'm sure they got a few more tricks up their sleeve for the postseason. That ground ball is going to find a home down the left field line, and Greg Dobbs has a pinch hit.
Well, we've talked about it so often. Two veterans have really done a nice job off the bench. Greg Dobbs, his pinch hit, number 11 on the season for him. It's a good pitch. It's up. When that pitch is up, it's a little more hittable. And he sneaks it past David Wright. And Austin Kearns, 13 pinch hits on the year.
Peterson takes a fastball up. Peterson's walked twice, lined into a double play. Ball and a strike. One and two. Cishek has been up and been ready for a while. He's just waiting. Murphy, Wright, and Lewis are the scheduled hitters for the Mets in the ninth.
That's one of the things, I mean, all relievers, but I think even more so in a closer's case, that they have to get used to because adrenaline plays into it so much. We've seen Cishek out there for a while because of the way this inning is going. And it's just something that closers deal with.
Peterson swings and misses, and down he goes. Inning over, but the Marlins get their run, and now we'll see if Steve Cishek comes in, our Toyota inside look. Tommy asked for it, and here it is. Here's the stopwatch on the Giancarlo Stanton home run, 3.9.
Yeah, anything under 4 seconds is a pretty good rocket.
And that, your Toyota inside look. Cishek, he's trying to put a cap on what has been a real nice season. Cishek getting a shot at the closer's role, holding it down, wobbled a bit here in September. You know his pre-pitch routine. He has that in the back of his pants, a Bible verse. With whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as you are working for the Lord and not for men. Stay smooth, easy speed.
Yeah, out of Colossians, and then he goes to stay smooth, easy speed.
Those are, I mean, those terms translate through almost all sports. I mean, you can, from baseball to golf.
When you try to rush things, if it's not smooth, if it's sped up too quickly.
Daniel Murphy. Cishek breaking ball for a strike. I'm sure there's some hockey players that'll tell you their wrist shot's a little better when you stay smooth and use the easy speed. Fastball foul back out of play. How many field goal kickers have that go through their mind?
Well, they have it go through a couple of times because you have that timeout called just before, so then you have to go through it again.
0-2. Jammed him. Solano, outfield grass, sets his feet and gets the out.
Good job. Murphy robbed Solano earlier in the game. So Donovan Solano scooted over and was able to make that play.
Our Toyota trends. David Wright arrives at the plate. 41 doubles gives him a Mets record 5 seasons of 40 or more, 2 baggers. Couple hits for Wright. Cishek stays away with a breaking ball. Cishek trying to save it. Marlins looking for win number 68.
Good fastball.
Ball and a strike. Bouncer out to his buddy Jose Reyes, and he throws right out. So there are 2 outs in the 9th. The postseason just days away. You can catch it all on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins on October 5th with the wild card game on TBS. Fred Lewis, first AB. Cishek hoping it's the last AB of the night.
Trying to pick up save number 15.
One ball, one strike. Crowd coming to life. Marlins try to finish. 1-2 the count to Fred Lewis. pop-up's going to find the seats. Cishek ready, and his 1-2 pitch. And he hits him. Breaking ball came too far. And now Cishek faces a left-handed bat that can knock one out of the park. Ike Davis with 31 home runs this year.
Boy, this breaking ball, the thought is there. Good idea to try to drop that breaking ball in the inner part of the plate. But it just got away from Cishek and plunked Fred Lewis. And you're right with Davis, 19 home runs since the All-Star break.
Lewis bluffed. He's got base stealer speed, and Davis fouls it off. So Cishek can't ignore Lewis at first. It's 0-2. Cishek was a strike away against Lewis. He's at first. 0-2, just missed.
Ooh, good pitch. Not to say it was a strike, but a good pitch to throw a good fastball in. If he comes back with fastball, if he tries that slider down and in. Keep in mind, Ike Davis a good low fastball hitter though. He's trying to stay up with it.
For a pitcher with that release point, is he able to develop a changeup?
I think he can. And would have some nice movement down and away to a lefty.
The 2-2. Davis broke his bat. Because Cishek, fastball, slider, and he'll change speeds on the slider, but the one piece of the puzzle that I think is missing for him to be a top flight closer is the ability to get left-handed hitters out consistently.
Yeah, and I think it's probably a pitch that coming up in the minor leagues he never really needed. But I think he realizes if he could come up with something like that, it would really take him to the next level.
2-2. And there's the breaking ball that almost caught the back leg of Davis. Shopik on deck. Hit hard, and Lee's got it and steps on the bag. Ball game. And the Marlins win it. Cishek saves it. And Miami with a late run on the Rob Brantley double come from behind and beat the Mets and open up this 3-game series, the last series of 2012. Back to wrap it up from Marlins Park, where Miami is 1 run better than New York tonight.